ladies and gentlemen. Hello and welcome back to Transport Fever 2. Hope you're all doing well today. So, at the minute we're just looking down the main boulevard in Jersey City, because today, as I mentioned previously, the plan would be an attempt to start growing the likes of Jersey, New York, Brooklyn, Yonkers, Edison, and the cities that form the little cluster we have in and around New York City. So let's have a look at where we think we may make a start for all of this and how we're going to organise it, because I've had a quick look prior to recording and I don't think it's gonna be as straightforward as we may initially hope. We do have a freight terminal here, which is serving the Phillips 66 Bayway refineries. However, we're very limited in terms of space for getting other commodities in and out of this station. So I think this is going to be a no-go. However, I've spotted this bit of land here, and I think this would be ideal, or suitable, perhaps not ideal, but it would be workable as a sort of freight terminal for a lot of these areas, especially for the likes of Brooklyn, Jersey, Edison, and potentially Newark, maybe even New York City itself. There would be a lot of intermediate road delivery vehicles, of course, to get the commodities from this station to wherever it is they are actually required. We could also have something perhaps up here, and this would be able to serve Yonkers, New Rochelle and Queens. Now, the first one I would like to grow, or would have liked to grow, would have been New York City. However, the nearest goods factory is over here in Wilmington, and the supply chain in order to unlock the goods is a little bit more complex than, say, food and bricks. We need to get oil into plastics, and we need to get coal and iron into steel, and then all of that into here, and then the goods out into New York. And it is a fair old distance, as we can see, so in terms of looking for something that can make an immediate impact, the goods isn't probably where we are going to start. Things such as bricks and food and fuel would certainly be a much more viable option. We have fuel being produced here anyway. We would have to just reconfigure our setup here just slightly, because what we would need is just a dedicated line that runs crude oil into the two refineries here. So these fuel delivery trains up to Boston are no longer handling the incoming crude oil, but that would be easy enough. And given the reasonably short distance, we could just have that handled via a road delivery system. There could be a possibility for shipping as well. It's only a small stretch. We'd have maybe a harbour here and here. It is an option, one we could consider and explore. For the food then, we have a food production plant here. We also have another one just here outside of Edison. So we have options for that. And then we want to look at the bricks as well. So we have the one up in Worcester and Springfield, so I think the nearest one may be Hartford, because I think Washington's just a little bit too far to be viable. So I think we would have to use this one here up by Hartford, which again is fine, shouldn't be too much of a problem. But I think to start with, we will go with the low-hanging fruit, as they like to say, and we'd get some fuel into Brooklyn. Now, I mentioned the possibility of using these waterways to get the fuel over. Let's just have a look. Would it be an option? Yeah. It's all navigable. We might just have to expand this little bit here, just to guarantee the ships get through without any issues. Well, the ships could get all the way down to here, and they could pick up from here, providing the harbour doesn't jut out into this water too much and look a bit too ridiculous. And as I also said, what we would have to do is just redo this line and these orders, so the Boston fuel trains no longer go to pick up the crude oil over here, and we have a dedicated shunt line for the crude that's just in and out, in and out, in and out continuously. And then this could produce the fuel at a far faster rate. And then these trains would come in and pick up what they can before heading off up to Boston, and the rest would be shipped over to Brooklyn. So let's make a start on that then. So first thing we're going to do, in fact, yeah, the first thing we're going to do is set up the new delivery line for the fuel. So it is going to be from Edison to New Jersey Freight Yard. Now we can't connect all stations because we don't have a diamond here. But what we can do, where is, okay, so there's our, yep, there's our signal control and access into the refineries. So what we're going to need here, we won't need a diamond, but we will need a crossing junction like that, and then that line should be happy. It will be if I change its platform to platform 2 and change the colour to black because it's crude oil. Oh no, you still, oh, you can't get, so you can come down here, you should be able to then, it's this light here that's causing the issue. Well, what we can do is change that to 2-way, and then this should be happy if we put it back onto platform 1. There we go. And then we will have the fuel trains from Boston using platform 2 as they currently are, so they're not going to trip up over one another. Okay, so let's set this up. So we're going to do the usual configuration here and have them wait for a full load before they set off. And we just want to quickly rename this, and this will be the crude oil shunt, crude oil shunt Bayview, or just New Jersey. Yeah, the crude oil shunt New Jersey. Okay, so now we can purchase some trains. So it's going to take a long time for the vehicles to get down here because we're coming all the way from Worcester. That's fine. It means we can get on with other jobs in the background, such as setting up the harbours. Now we're not going to double head this like we have with our Boston fuel trains, and we are going to use obviously the more modern tank cars for their increased capacity and speed, both of which are very useful. And what do we want to say here? So that's 10. Let's try 12 and look at the ratings here. What would 10 be like? There's not much in it, so we'll go for 12. In terms of amounts, we're going to want a lot of throughput on our crude oil, so I'm going to say we go for 4. That's going to cost 37 million, so a fair old whack, but that's fine. We'll fully colour them all in black. Worcester's still umming and ahhing about what commodities it would like, but that's okay. And you go run the crude oil shunt from New Jersey, please. Wonderful. And we would now want to change this line, so you no longer come to Edison. And New Jersey Freight Yard, full load as long as it takes. Yeah, that should be okay. And then off to Boston. Yep, that's per. We need to change that so they're not unloading the crude oil at New Jersey. That's now being handled by the crude oil shunt line. They are of course still loading fuel Oh, did not mean to do that. Okay. Let's quickly put Boston back on the route. There we go. And just make sure that you're only unloading fuel. You're not bringing anything back. Not that there's anything in Boston you could return. But this just ensures there's no confusion. Right. What we're also going to do at this point is double track the last little stretch of this. It's not too much to do, so it'll not take us too long. And we'll start the double track process from the other side of this level crossing. And then we're just going to bring this in to there. Quickly get rid of that. And then connect those two together. And then we'll be able to chuck a few more signal blocks in. Ideally that wants to be one way, so we'll just quickly change that. There we go. Right, how many blocks do we have down here? I can get one more. And then we'll have the approach signal for the junction. I think what we're also going to do is extend this station length by 3 extra segments. And obviously 3 extra cargo platforms as well. And why the heck not, let's give them a couple of buildings just to boost that capacity up as high as we possibly can. Okay, so that's all fine. So this might mess about initially with the previous production chain we'd set up, but as soon as our shunt trains make their way down, we should be okay. I mean, for example, this guy here going to go all the way to Boston with no fuel on board, but that's fine. You're going to do the same. I'm hoping you are going to drop off the fuel. Let's just speed it up and see. Or you're going to go straight on through. No, you are going to unload. And you are going to... Okay, so you're not running empty to Boston, so that's something. Capacity's fine there. Right, so the harbour. So we want a cargo harbour. We'll have a large terminal because why wouldn't we? We have connectivity with everything we need. So that's fine. Can we push it back? No, we couldn't push it back any further. That's as close as we can go. Okay. Now then. Would we be better served having this here? Because I'm thinking trying to get a road from this area, we'd have to snake it all the way out and under the rail rather than running across the top. So maybe this is better served on this little peninsula just here. Let's just check that all of this is navigable. Yes, it is. Okay. That causes a bit of concern. I'm not sure if that's classed as navigable now or not. I suppose the only way we're going to find out is if we set up a new line. No, it seems okay. It's not grumbling about anything. Well, this is going to be orange. You're going to be a full load as long as you require. And you're loading fuel. Where is it? There it is. And you're not bringing anything back, so there we go. So S for shipping, our first shipping line on the map, and this will be Brooklyn fuel. Nice and simple. Okay, back to, no, not that. Back to here, we're going to need a shipyard. I think somewhere like this might be ideal. Why the heck not? Okay, buy vehicles. We want large vehicles, and we want to make sure you can take fuel with you. So we have 3 choices. We have the Dunara Castle, which carries 100. The Zoroaster, which carries 90 and is slower but is cheaper. Or we have the Vandal, or the Vandal, I'm not sure the pronunciation, which is the same speed but more power and more capacity, and it actually is a tanker. So it's only taking liquid product, shall we say, or that may be, I don't know, who knows. So that's what we'll use a Vandal anyway. And I think 2 will be enough, really. It's only a short journey, but we can see. I'm going to give these high maintenance because they are passing close to a few residential and built up areas. We want them orange, and we want them away on the line. Right, so nothing's going to come in yet because we don't have any connection point from the port of Brooklyn. So let's tend to that. So first of all, we'll have the road access just along the front of the harbour entrance, with the connecting roads coming in sort of like this. Little bit odd, but it will work. And we want a truck station as well. We'll have 2 platforms because we might have other things shipped in the future. And if we pop it just, I think that's probably the best place to have that. And we'll call this Brooklyn Port as well, and then it's part of the same complex. Let's give them a depot out here as well, and we'll nestle that up here, up against the rail bridge, just like so. And again, we'll want that to connect in. Okay. Right, so where in Brooklyn is the fuel actually needed? Oh, it's all the way over here, but that's okay. So we want an unload point right about there to encompass everything. And we want a new line from Brooklyn Port to Spring Street. Okay, so the problem here then is the delivery vehicles, when they're dropping off, they could slow down our buses. So we'll monitor that. If it does become a problem, we can relocate the drop off, or we could send the buses around here and extend their journey just a fraction and see which would be the fastest option. The best option, of course, would just be relocate the drop off point, but we'll see how it goes. It might not be necessary anyway, but there we go. Load if available, so you can have your normal loading orders. We're not going to change anything from the default, and you're loading fuel. Yeah, that's all good. Right, where are you? You're going to be called line 1, aren't you? Yes, you are. So this will be T for trucks. And what are we calling this? Brooklyn fuel delivery, I suppose. So completely abandoned the established naming convention, but what the heck. Right then, cargo. You can take the fuel. And shall we say... Well, we'll say 3 to start with, because for the starting period, you're not actually going to have anything on board. But what the heck, they can run away in the background, and then we can tweak the line orders and the amounts when things start to flow through. Right, can we put a cargo building here? We can put 2 down either side. So that's handy, because that's going to boost the capacity of the port, although I've just realised we don't need them there. Ideally we want to put some buildings on this one, because a fully loaded ship without the extra capacity here may overwhelm the limit, and then we'd be losing fuel. So we'll put those there just so we know we have enough buffer that a fully loaded ship, this can store it until it starts getting delivered outwards. Right, so the next thing I want to check is where along our lines the shunt trains have gotten so far. Are you one of them? No, you're not. So you're one of the fuel ones, and you're the chap who left empty. Okay. So, who are you? Now you're going back for fuel. Where are they? I'd have thought they'd have come at least this far by now. They must, yeah, they must have passed. Right. Are you one of them? Are you the first one? Is the other one still in the depot? It is. Right, so Bit of a traffic jam then here in Worcester, clearly. How many of these did we get? 4? I think we got 4, didn't we? So you're in the depot. You're that one. You're also in the depot. You're also in the depot. Right, do we have an issue here, or is it just really busy? Let's just accelerate the time, let things pass through, and we'll see. Right, you're still waiting for... Right, you get on your... Excuse me, yeah. You get on your way just to make some space. You're near enough full loaded anyway, so... Because we need to get these out, because otherwise the whole fuel production process is going to grind to a screeching halt. Right, and again, I don't care if you're not fully loaded or even close to it. We just need these guys out of the way so these can come on through. And I'm hoping now yes, there we go. Because we really want to get the ball rolling with these. So they're going to make their way down. It's going to take them a while to get down there. Let's just drop back to 1 times game speed now. Okay, so we haven't handled it yet because we haven't had any deliveries yet. We're not going to have any for a while. But the infrastructure is in place for getting the fuel to Brooklyn. Nothing else around here requires fuel in this little cluster. So we're not going to do anything else with the fuel. The next thing we'd consider then is food. And that would be Brooklyn hitting both of their commodity targets. So, do we want to use this food plant here, or do we want to bring another one online? The problem with this one is we're going to struggle to get a station in here that can also come out and down here. So, is there another production? No, these are just farms down here. So it might have to be this one. And I think the plan would be the line would come down, hook into here, and then the train could come down this way, over this bridge here, and then if we were to have a cargo station here, we could branch it off, although it's going to be a very slow junction because of the limited space that we have. But if that's what it requires, then that's what it requires. We don't need that anymore. So let's see. If we did want to do it this way round, we'd have a cargo terminus station. We'd have 320 meters. Now, how many commodities would it be handling? Well, bricks and goods. Should we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Yeah. We'll say it's handling 5. So we'll give them 5 platforms. And if we were to set it up against the water's edge like that, that means we might struggle getting all these platforms in time. This would then become exceptionally busy, so that we'd have to think about that and how we handle our stabling process, because we certainly wouldn't have the room to have them wait between here and here. There's just not enough room for that. So what we may end up having is this bit here could be quad tracked or even greater, because we'd not want, or we'd want to avoid as much traffic as we possibly can, because we'd want the trains to get in and then get out again ASAP. So that would take some thought. Okay, let's just call this Jersey City Freight Hub, because why the heck not? Might not necessarily set anything up with this today, although yeah, we could maybe get the food on its way down. Let me just have a think about this. Yeah, how would we handle marshalling the trains in and out of there? Because there really isn't the space. Yeah, we'd have to have several tracks down here. Let me think about this. perhaps stuff coming from down here, from the southern areas of the map, so the goods, for example, maybe they would be on dedicated lines that only interact briefly with our existing cargo lines. That's an option. Anyway, we need to make a few modifications here, because what we also want to do is have a road along this edge. So I'm just going to chuck in a load of cargo buildings, not only because it gives us a nice straight edge for a street connection, but also, of course, it increases the cargo capacity of the station itself, which is always a bonus. Right, don't do that. Do that. There we go. Yep. Okay, so we'd want this to hook into here somewhere. Now I think we could get it to come in this bit, underneath the bridge, over the river. It'd need to be a steep bridge, because we need to make sure there's enough room for our ships to get underneath. In fact, let's do the bridge first of all. So if we go up 4, and then bring, if we go as far as, say, there, we've kept the waterway open, which is important. And what we would do then is have it come down the ways fairly steeply. Yep. And then can we have it, just put that back to default, there we go. Nope, there it is. Could you then come down like that, maybe just a bit like that? Is that going to fit under? Oh no, it's just not quite, is it? Right. So then, let's try this again. Oh, there we go. That's what we want. It's... oh no, that's horrific. Yeah, that is absolutely... it might have to do though. I don't like that at all. It's just hideous. Alright, let's have it come a little bit further. And then loop around on itself, still maintaining the same gradient decrease. How far off? Oh, look at that, we're pretty much back down to earth now. That's better. And in fact, if we just do that, yep, wonderful. Yeah, that's far more pleasing to look at, shall we say? Yeah, that's fine. Over here, it doesn't really matter. We can just do whatever, because we've got a lot of space here. So if we just did that, and in fact, what about if we did that? Yeah, why not? Yeah, that's fine. So that's how the food, and maybe even bricks and goods would make their way over. We've kept the waterway open for our shipping, so meeting all the objectives here, and this is the better solution aesthetically, I think, than that ridiculously almost vertical drop off that it was offering a few moments ago. Right, so we'd also need, of course, a truck station, and we'd go for a large one, and we'd put this, I'd say we'd put this somewhere like that. And what we'd also do with this is we would extend the platforms outwards like so, and we'd chuck a couple of these cargo buildings in just for the boost to the capacity like that. And should we chuck a few over this side as well? Hopefully they line up, but if they don't, it's not the end of the world. And what do we, this is Jersey Freight Hub, isn't it? So this will also have the same name, Jersey Freight Hub. Wonderful. And you know what? I think it's gonna be worth chuck in extra street access points in as well, like so. And last but not least, all of these then want bringing into this road system here. And just to finish it off, just going to do a little bit of terraforming around here, because we've done some quite extensive raising and lowering of roads and infrastructure here. So just to smooth it all off a little bit, just to blend it all in, we're going to do that. There we go. Okay, wonderful. Right, so first things first then. Let's get this connected in to this. In fact, let me just have a look here. Yeah, what we're going to do here is we're going to quad track this bit. Is that actually quad? Yeah, there we go. That's quad tracking. Well, it's actually triple tracking at the moment, but you know, eventually it will be quad with the bridge. There we go. And then this will merge into our main freight line on the other side, maybe up here somewhere. So let's just do that. So coming all the way over, like so. We want a diamond over here. We'll keep it short because we don't want the switch too close to the station in case our trains start overhanging in the future, which they could well do. And what we're going to do, I don't know if we'd ever need this, or we can't do it there, but we could do it here if we just sort these signals out a little. Yeah, what we're going to do is have these cross over. Don't want the catenary, so we've just hit 1910 clearly, as the catenary has just been made available to us, which I do believe also means we have the modern signals. So we're going to have that do that as well. So stuff can use this line to come in to this freight hub. Let's just see. No, we don't have the modern signals yet. I thought we did. Never mind. I think that might be 1920. And then we'd have that sort of setup there, like that, to protect the junction. Right, and what we need to do is, so you are clearing that junction there, you're protecting that junction, so we want you to connect in. So if we just bring it level with that switch, not that switch, that semaphore signal just there. And then can we take you over nicely when it's nice enough, like that. We'd have to rethink that signal there because it would block the junction, but we have that one there, so that's okay. So we'd want one there, and what the heck, we'll have one there even though it's going to be shifat. We'll just get rid of that one. There's no need to have two so close together. And what else do we want? Do we want clearing signals, don't we, there? And everything else should be okay. Let's just put that to clear, and then let's put some blocking ones along here for access into the Jersey freight hub. And there's our switch, so maybe just like that. Okay, so that's that done. So theoretically all we need to do here is, well, first of all, whack in another platform like that. Give that token access into there like that, and you can have a double slip switch just to be different. And then we'd have it come out, run down here, and connect in to here, but it would then need to make its way across onto these tracks because these are the ones that turn down and then head down there. But I think we'll finish that off in a future episode, because then we'd need to set up, we've got, obviously it's not just connecting those lines, it's also the the vehicles. We'd need to sort out the trucks shipping the food into the final leg into Brooklyn. So we'll do all that in the next episode, I think. Right, before we go, I do want to check. Yep, I saw this happening. So let's get you to go, because as it stands, we have our shunt trains unable to get any further. There's 3 of them. I guess the 4th one is going to be down here somewhere. Yeah, we've got an almighty traffic jam spiraling all the way back, so we need to get things rolling here. And again, if it means a couple of them are running empty or running short, then so be it. At least it gets our infrastructure moving once again. Let's just send him through as quickly as we can, just to free up the tracks. Yeah, you see that? Look at that overhang there. So we need to deal with that. So what we're going to have to do is those 2 signals there are going to have to go. That's going to have to go. And what we're going to do is say here is, you know, it's not possible. Can we do it on the bridge? Yeah, we're going to have to set that way back there. And put a 2-way signal there. So that should be fine for now. We don't need to stable our fuel trains up here anywhere, because once our shunt trains have passed on through, they're not going to be running down here anymore. So then these trains aren't going to be blocking anything, so they're all good. So you should now be almost at the refinery. And where's the 4th one? I saw 3 of them. Let's just, if we can click it. So you are there. Train 46 is the one just arriving. 47 is the one hot on its heels. So 48 is the one that was missing, and you're still all the way back in Worcester. Good grief. Right, okay. Right, let's do this what we did last time then. Let's do this manually. Right, is there any more? Right, you're not waiting around any longer. You get gone so you can get on your way. Back down here very quickly. Just check things are going okay here. Obviously you're waiting, but that's fine. We have at least 2 of the shunt trains through here now, so we can have crude oil starting to make its way through. In fact, we can see it here. Look, the first 2 trains are fully loaded already and are heading on their way, and then that's going to start loading you, so you can bugger off. You can come and you can then bugger off. You'll be able to come straight on through and join your 2 brothers over here. And the last of the litter has now made its way through, and I guess it's steaming away down here somewhere. There she goes. Wonderful. Okay, so yes, as I said, that's where we'll leave it for today. Didn't get as much done as I would have liked, but yeah, it wasn't as straightforward as I would have liked either. So there you go. Right, let's where's that fuel train? Here it is. Let's get on board the shunt train, and this is what we'll take a ride on for today's outro, I think. Don't know how far we're going to go, but we'll just have a little ride out anyway as we head to New Jersey. So I hope you enjoyed the episode and you continue to enjoy the series. As always, your support is truly and greatly appreciated. It does mean a lot, so thank you very much as always for that. Obviously, if you would like to show your support, then the thumbs up and the subscribe buttons are 2 wonderful ways to do that, of course, and both gestures are deeply and greatly appreciated, and I thank each and every one of you for that. But for now, all that remains for me to say is, as always, ladies and gentlemen, take very good care of yourselves. It's ta-ta for now.